Welcome, everybody. I am Coach Art with egelloC. I have my special guest with me. Guest star here is Coach Dollie. We're both from egelloC, and I want to thank you so much for joining us today. We have an extremely exciting topic today, which is UC versus CSU, meaning University of California schools versus Cal State University schools. Which system is better for you? Okay. So we're going to be talking about this again for the next half an hour or so. Leave it open for questions, and then after that, we'll call it a day. So want to welcome you and thank you so much for coming. I know that you could be doing anything out there. You could be spending time with your family and friends, doing something really cool, and you choose to spend it with us. So we are absolutely privileged and honored that you're with us tonight. So what are we going to cover today? So this is what we're going to cover. First of all, we're going to look at a glance the two systems in California. We're going to do a breakdown of kind of what the academics look like, the finances and affordability, the lifestyle for the experience. What is the trends across the United States in the perception of the UC and the CSUs? What really matters with respect to assessing your values, figuring out what kind of framework you can use to decide on the type of either UC or CSUs. Going to do some final takeaways, and then you're going to hear a little bit about from myself and Coach Dollie on our perspectives with respect to the UCs and the Cal States. Okay, so with that, before I start this, I always say to everybody on our webinar here, if you like something that you hear that we say, I would really love to see a heart. So if you could do that for us right now, is if you could give us some red hearts. Just want to see if there you go. If your clicker is working, I love it. You guys know. So if you find anything and anything that we say tonight, give us a red heart, because then it gives us an indication that we're doing our job. Okay. So I'm going to introduce myself first of all. Again, I'm Coach Art with egelloC. I've been with egelloC for about over 4 years now. Been in the college admission state over 9 years. Was in technology for 30 years. But my biggest claim to fame, of course, is my three boys. My oldest graduated from UC Berkeley with a mechanical engineering degree. My middle son is going to University of Illinois in Chicago and taking his nursing degree. And my youngest is at Biola University, and he's taking his physical therapy degree and also playing college soccer. So for all you parents out there, I've been through it 3 times. I know the trials and tribulations you've gone through. And for all the students out there, I've also helped so many students getting placed across the country. Now it is my privilege to be able to introduce one of my amazing coaches on my team, Coach Dollie. Coach Dollie, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm really excited to be here for today. And so for me, my experience, I've been working with high school students for many years. During college, I was part of like the summer orientation program, specifically worked a lot with the College of Business and a lot of programs during the school. And I am one of the coaches here at egelloC. So if I look familiar, maybe I am one of your students' coach. And I'm excited today to share a lot of insights about UC, CSU, and most importantly, also just share. We're gonna have a fun little time at the end, just sharing experiences, right? From me as a CSU alumni, I will talk to you about my experiences and just in general information, right, about the UCs and CSUs.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Coach Dollie. So we're going to get into this really quickly here and get started. So what does the UCs and the Cal States, if you compare against them, what does it look like at a glance? So first of all here, we put this little chart together so that you guys can see the comparison. So first of all, for University of California versus Cal States, the main focus of the UCs is really research and theory. Okay. A lot of the bigger schools, they truly, like, for example, my son went to Berkeley, a lot of research that they do. Okay. And the theory of where everything that happens. Now, with the Cal State University side, they're more geared towards getting individuals ready for careers and applied learning. So, for example, like at Cal Poly Slow, And some others as well. They have this curriculum called Learn by Doing. So, for example, an engineer who is first year engineer, their first day in lab, they're welding. Okay, so that's a big difference between the Cal States and UC. Not to say that the UCs don't have practical experience, but that happens later on in the curriculum. Okay, you can also see here is the campuses. Many more campuses in the Cal State system, 23 of them. University of California, everybody knows is there's 9 of them, okay? And so you have 9 UCs, 23 Cal States are across the across California, and in all different geographics of California as well. Now, the class sizes you'll normally see for the UCs are much larger lectures, okay? Now, there are smaller upper division seminars that they have, but typically you'll have much bigger class sizes, lecture halls. I mean, I've seen where there's sometimes 200, 300 people in one lecture hall, okay? I saw that in my son at Berkeley. Now, with Cal States, they do have small classes overall. They still have, sizable classes, but again, it is smaller. It's not necessarily the larger, massive lecture halls. And that's on purpose so that the ratio between the professor and the students are smaller, okay? And that really goes towards the career ready and applied learning. Now, with respect to the UCs, they do offer doctoral degrees, professional degrees, undergraduate degrees. Primarily on the Cal State side, it's mainly bachelor's and master's. Okay, you don't really see the doctorate side. Okay. Another thing here is from a prestige. Now, I kind of hesitate in saying this because first of all, the Cal States, they do have some reputation, okay? There is. But UCs, yes, they do have national and global reputation. Like a lot of people know UCLA and Berkeley, okay? That's just obvious, right? And in specific areas of for example, like UC San Diego is very high on, let's say, yeah, neuroscience or so, right? Now, the Cal States, they have a strong regional reputation, but again, remember, some of the schools, some of the Cal States are really highly regarded. Let's say Cal Poly SLO, highly regarded within the engineering, okay, arena. So, although they have a strong regional reputation, they also have in some areas strong reputation out in, nationally as well, maybe even globally, just because of the things that they do. So, overall, you see that there is a distinction between the UCs and the Cal States. Of course, the Cal States, the UCs are a bit bigger, Cal States are a little smaller, but regardless, both of them have very incredible curriculums. Okay. Meaning that their academics are outstanding, and also the campuses there are outstanding, and you will be able to find the right type of campus for you in either of these types of schools. Okay, so with that, I'm going to turn it over to my partner in crime here, Coach Dolly. She's going to give us a little bit more of a breakdown of each of those categories that we just talked about.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so for the breakdown, the first thing, academics, right? The real differences between the UCs and the CSUs is that for UCs, they are very focused on that research. Like Coach Art mentioned, the U system does have a lot of immersed in research. So if you have experienced research and that's something you really love and you want to pursue that, then a UC is a great choice for that. They also are the professors for the CSUs, they have very hands-on learning. They are because they are smaller classes, maybe there's more opportunities for office hours. Maybe you get to know your professors more on a personal level. For the UCs, there are faculty leaders in their field. So this goes hand in hand with those research opportunities. And don't be afraid to ask, right? If you have a professor working on a specific research, and you can always ask them, maybe they'll be thrilled to have you on. So those are all things that for the UCs are really important. And then of course, like strong honor and grad school prep. A lot of UCs are going to have a lot of opportunities for grad school programs. For the CSUs, they have, like Coach Art mentioned, the flagship programs in Cal Poly, really well known for engineering. For San Diego State University, they're really well known for business. So it really depends on what you're looking for on the academic side. It doesn't mean one is better than the other, but for academics, they do have a bit of a different perspective, right? Highlighting emphasis on research for UCs, a lot of theory, grad school pathways, and then for CSU, it's a lot of applied learning, hands-on internships, smaller classes. So for academics, this is overall the differences. And go ahead to the next slide. Okay, for affordability and value. So this is an important topic as well, right? So for UCs, they are definitely going to cost maybe twice as much in tuition in fees compared to CSUs. Both systems have similar housing costs, but for UCs, and both of them do have FAFSA and Cal Grants available. So that is one thing that is available for both of them. However, it just depends your budget. You want to definitely talk about the fees with if you're a student, talk about it with the parents. And very important too is your like the financial aid, right? Depending on what kind of grants you get, maybe that helps you determine where you're going to attend. And of course, the housing, it can be, both systems can be pretty equal, but you really want to take into consideration the location, right? The rent is going to be a lot higher in cities like San Diego or in San Francisco, like cities that are really well known to be more expensive rather than in Chico, for example, or in another a place where rent is not as expensive. So housing, that's why the range is very large on there, but it's fairly similar. Okay, for the next slide. Okay, for lifestyle and campus experience. So for the UCs, they are going to have a larger, more diverse student body. Your classes are going to most likely be bigger lectures. For both of them, I would say that as you continue into your upper division classes, the classes do tend to get smaller, but overall, they are going to be larger and have more of a diverse student body. It is going to have a competitive environment. So one thing to take into consideration, of course, like Coach Art mentioned, the global network. So UCs, they are going to be recognized globally, nationally, and everywhere. CSUs, it's going to have more of that tighter knit community. A lot of commuter-friendly campuses. If you live nearby, near CSU, and if that's the best for your specific situation, then they do have a lot of commuter opportunities where a lot of students will, and if you're not familiar with the term commuter, these are students that don't live on campus, they go back home, and then they just go to school for their classes, for example. They are also very strong, they have a strong California industry connection. So if your goals are to stay in the state of California and work in the state of California, then they do they have that as well. And for UC campuses, they are going to have, like I mentioned, yes, they're globally known, but also the state of California is so big, right? So CSU campuses there's 23 CSU campuses. So they're all over the California. And let me see, go ahead to the next one. Okay, so for prestige and admission trends, so prestige is often the top of our families, right? People think about UCs like UC Berkeley, or sorry, UCLA, yeah, UC Berkeley, which they tend to have their admissions under 12%, right? 9 to 12% more or less. For the selectivity of mid-tier UCs, it's going to be anything 25 to 40%. And for CSUs, it's going to be anything 30 to 70%, right? So there are different, and it depends too. It's not that all of the UCs are, like I mentioned, right? Not all of the UCs are going to have that really, really high percentage. And it really depends too on the major. So it's not the same as if you're applying to right now, very STEM majors, computer science, majors that are very popular. Those are going to be impacted regardless if it's a mid-tier UC. So that's one thing you want to take into consideration as well. Usually for CSUs, they generally emit between 30 to 70%, depending on the campuses. And the UC brand does carry that global reputation, while the CSU has more of that strong regional credibility. But of course, the outcome depends more on what your major is, the internships you're looking for, and an effort, then it's more of the effort you make than rather than just the name of the school for you. Okay. And for what really matters. So at the end of the day, it's really about your values, right? Your academic goals, what you're focusing on. Everyone is going to be different. So families often want to only focus on rankings, right? But you need to take into consideration other things that align with your values. And if you know, I don't know how many have done research. If you go into a major at a specific university, and if you look at that same major at a different university, if you compare the curriculum, you might see that some universities maybe have a strong focus on, I don't know, sustainability. Other universities might have a really strong focus on like equity or so on. So it really depends. That's one thing you want to make sure that your values are aligning to that university. And of course, again, to the cost and the financial aid, all of that is going to be something you want to take into consideration. So you want to think about asking yourself, do I want research or do you want career readiness? Do I want to graduate from college and be thrown into my field? You're ready for that? Then that is very more from the CSU for the career readiness. And also, what can my family comfortably afford, right? Because UCs are almost double in price of the tuition, but that doesn't mean you're not going to get a good education at a CSU, right? So the type of campus and the community feel is something you want to take into consideration. And where do you want to live in the future as well? And while you're in college, because there's UCs, there's campuses that are both in cities, and there's CSUs that are in big cities like San Jose. There's also CSUs that are in really small towns, for example, like Chico, where you're going to definitely get that college town feel. So everything, it really depends on what are your values and what do you see yourself doing once you're there in school, but also in the long term, about maybe graduate school, or if you're thinking about going straight into the workforce. All of those are things you want to take into consideration for these universities. Mhm. Okay, so the framework for the decision making. So what you want to do is you want to define your top three academic priorities, right? A five-step process to guide you is maybe you want to define those three academic priorities. You want to make sure you have the clarity from your family's perspective on the financial comfort zone within your family. The third one is you want to decide on your preferred lifestyle and the campus experience. The fourth one is how much does prestige really matter for your goals? And the fifth one would be match your values, like I mentioned, matching your values to the system that best fits. So this structure is going to help families approach this in a smoother way. It's going to move you away from that emotional decisions and towards choices that truly are going to fit the students. And those would be my tips for overall the framework for making these decisions. Mm. All right, Coach Art, you're muted. Go ahead, saying amazing things.
Okay, Coach Dollie. Yeah, let me do that again. So thank you so much, Coach Dollie. Appreciate it. That was incredible information about the UCs and CSU. So what do we end up and look at overall when we kind of summarize this? So first of all, both systems, okay, UCs and CSUs offer opportunities, of course. Um, when we look at this, neither is really universally better because they have a bit different in sense of their focuses. But at the end, the result, a lot of the students, many of the students are very, very successful coming out of them because they're picking, what's right for them, right? Again, we mentioned academics should really drive your choice if you're the kind of person who really wants research, and graduate preparatory type of academics, then you go with the UCs. If you really are looking to go right into an applied type of career or be career ready, then the Cal States are a little bit more geared towards that in getting you into the workforce. Although, again, of course, UCs they're also good in the workforce. You will have people that or companies that will come and recruit there, of course. But again, there's less necessary services as there are with Cal State's from a career ready standpoint. Affordability, of course, matters. I hate paying for my kids' schools just like the next person. And so Cal State's, you know what? It's about half of the UC tuition. And when you're thinking about all of the schools, not just in California and throughout California, but also out of state, you can't really beat the price, okay, for the education that you're getting. But I definitely would run, net price calculators, meaning a lot of sites have calculators in which you can calculate how much is it going to cost me with respect to the tuition, the housing, just extra money that they're going to need at their books and all of that. All of those things, I would definitely recommend that you want to run the numbers and see what fits for your family. With respect to the campus experience, we mentioned already, UCs are larger, more global versus CSUs. Some of the CSUs are massive. So when we say they're smaller, they're not that small in some of them. But there is more kind of a community-based feeling when you're talking about Cal States versus UC. Sometimes they're just so large and big that you may not get that kind of feeling of community. But really, I always say is that when you're going to any school, it doesn't matter what school, you want to set up your community as quickly as possible, that community of individuals that really will look out for you, have your back, even during times of stress and strain, okay? Now, when we talk about admissions trends, yes, UCs are more selective. They definitely are. And that's on purpose just because, again, they are bigger, they're more globally recognized, so there's just more students that are applying to the UCs. And so they can't just accept everybody. Whereas the Cal States, do have broader access. Now, some of them, for example, like again, I mentioned Cal Poly SLO, it's one of the hardest schools to get into. San Diego State, one of the harder schools to get into just because of the popularity, as Coach Dollie mentioned, with business, location as well. There are ones, for example, like Cal State, Long Beach or Fullerton, or Long Beach, there's popularity with respect to, let's say, the film industry or so, or Cal State LA. Those are areas in which it gets a little bit difficult from an admission standpoint. Then, of course, you all know UC Berkeley, UCLA, UC Davis, and all of them. Yes, more students apply, of course, there's less that can make it in. So it really depends upon your values, and you really need to, guide your decision through your goals, through your finances, the type of lifestyle that your student and I'll say, if I'm talking to students, you want, the prestige you want. But I would warn a lot of parents and students, don't go just by the brand. That is the wrong way to go. And I'm talking about this from a college admissions coach, but also from a parent. Don't just go by brand, because a lot of times if you just go by brand, you will find that you may not be happy because that brand may not fit the true lifestyle, the true values that you are looking for. So it's really, really important to do your research and to really find out the inner workings of that school and the types of value, their mission, the types of students that are on that campus, how big, how small, whatever it is, all the criteria that you use to make sure that you choose the right one. So we always say the right choice. The choice is not, is it UC versus Cal State, but which one is the right one for you? Okay. So you don't ever want to go and say, oh, I'm going to just choose UC or Cal State. No, you want, again, as I mentioned, to really research and find out which one is the right system for you. And then, of course, which one is the right school within that system. Okay. So did you guys find that interesting, or if you guys can give us some hearts or thumbs up, I'd really make sure. I didn't know if that some of you might have seen it. Yay. All right. So I love the red hearts. Okay. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to give some perspectives. And so Coach Dollie, she actually is a graduate from a Cal State. So she's going to provide, background with respect to how her experience was Cal State. Now, for me, I did not go, actually, let me take that back. I even thought about this. I have actually taken some classes at some UCs. I've actually taught at UC, and I am a parent. So I'm going to give the parent perspective. Dollie's going to give the student perspective. So Dollie, I'm going to start with you, and please give us, first of all, give us your perspective of how the process was of applying for the Cal States, and then how was it when you were at the Cal State?
Yes. So for me, I'm from San Jose. So I was always and you always knew about San Jose State University. So I was really, when we did field trips, we would go to San Jose State University. So for me, I personally wanted to explore something new. And that's why I went to a CSU that was in up in North Cal, right? I went to CSU Chico. And I'm so happy I did this decision because it is a very different like people like to say vibe, right? It's a San Jose State, San Jose in general, it's a very big city. There's tons of people. Whereas for Chico, it was a completely different environment, which was something I was looking for. I did want to get out of my comfort zone. I wanted to look at new areas of California that I've never been to. And it was definitely more a college town experience. The downtown was a few steps from a certain campus, like a certain class, and it did have that really tight community, not just Chico or like the CSUs, but definitely Chico State had a lot of events that they did with the community. There was an event called Cats in the Community where students were able to go out and volunteer on Cesar Chavez Day. So there is a lot of involvement within that. And I think that's what really brought me to just loving to mentor students. During my time there, I was a freshman leadership opportunity facilitator. It really did get me a lot of opportunities on campus, and that's in the like the lifestyle, the environment of the school, right? But academically, I also really enjoyed it. I studied business, and for the College of Business, they had tons of opportunities. They even started a new sales program there, which when I left, it was kind of starting up again. But now I've seen on LinkedIn, they've flown to Hawaii to compete. They even compete with real companies, and they do sales pitch, and they do all these different competitions. So that was something that for me, I really enjoyed. Even when I was there, it was still a really cool program. I did a certificate as well. So in addition to your major, you're able to pick up minors, certificates, different things. And during that time, it was starting out, but now I see the big change that it's a lot of opportunities for students, right, to practice. And it doesn't have to be just sales. There was also for the engineering programs, they had tons of opportunities, and they even did on campus on the quad, they would do something for Pi Day. And so there was a lot, it was very active. For me, it was very active and never really felt, even if I didn't live on campus and was a commuter, it was still the community, the whole town was really centered around the university. So for me, that was my experience. It was a very college town, college experience. We didn't have a football team, which is one thing that when you think of college universities, you do think of sports and football. And I'm not sure that's the only one school that doesn't have or CSU that doesn't have a football team. But regardless, there was a lot of other sports events and other ways to still have that school spirit. And academically too, like I mentioned, a lot of CSUs are well known for specific programs, right? Like for Cal Poly, they're really well known for the learning by doing. So if you're a hands-on person, then that could be a great campus for you. If you are, for example, if you want to go into computer science, San Jose State is located right on the heart of, Silicon Valley. So that could be a great outcome for any computer science or people that want to go into the tech field. So really looking into the locations of where the universities are, and just really not just looking at, like Coach Art mentioned, not just the branding, but look at the even the climate, right? Maybe it's because if we got even there are summers where could get up to like 112 Fahrenheit in Chico, which was something I had never experienced. So you want to also be open to new environments if you're going from, because California is so big. You might be from SoCal and NorCal can be completely different, or vice versa, right? Even Bay Area to NorCal was completely different. So that's my experience. I don't know for Coach Art, what
Awesome.
about you
Thank you.
for UCs?
You know, it's funny. I'm a bit partial to UCs, but I will say, my wife, she did get her master's in nursing at San Diego State. So, and I have a lot of friends and family that have attended San Diego State. It's an amazing school. It really is. And so I would say is that, and of course, their sports programs are incredible. Just because I'm from Illinois. I went to University of Illinois in Champaign-Urbana, and the old coach there, that was the basketball coach, moved to San Diego State. So he was coaching there. So I have a allegiance a little bit there. Now, with respect to the UC, so my experience, actually, I was a student, but not with respect to, getting a degree from UC, but I did take classes there. So I took classes at UC San Diego Extension. I also took classes at Fullerton and Long Beach as well. And I found the campuses, well, the campuses were much different. UC San Diego, it's a much quieter campus a bit, but because you're so you're next to San Diego, the city, and the amazing beach and everything. So there's so many other opportunities there. But I also had a chance to teach, but not through UC San Diego, but through my company that I was with. But I was there every week teaching on campus, teaching students, UC San Diego students, about technology. And so it was an amazing campus. And I thought it was quite incredible with respect to the type of students that were there. So that's UC San Diego. Um, Taking classes at Fullerton and Long Beach, it is a commute. Those are two are more of a commuter school, in Cal State, Long Beach, and Fullerton. But still, um, I really enjoyed it. My biggest thing for the UCs is my experience with UCLA and UC Berkeley, of course. So UCLA, I had a very dear friend that went to UCLA, and he was actually the president of the student body at UCLA. And so I got firsthand when I was actually um, a high school as well as in college. I was able to visit him a lot, and so I got the campus feel of UCLA, which was really amazing. It was, of course, a big campus. Everybody knows UCLA, but the people, the energy, the excited energy of the students, and the opportunities were incredible with respect to internships, with respect to the type of professors that were there. That was incredible. Now, my direct experience with UC Berkeley is as a parent. My son again mentioned that he went there, graduated from his mechanic with a mechanical engineering degree, which is one of the hardest degrees to make it into and get through. So I'll give my perspective for all those parents out there who might think, "Oh gosh, what about UC Berkeley?" When we first heard that he got accepted, we were very, very worried. I'll be very, very honest. And the reason why is because we all heard that, how difficult it was, how cutthroat it was in a sense of, people not necessarily helping each other, how rigorous it was. And so we had great concerns because we had heard that, some students were, mentally were had difficulties when they went there, right? So I will say is that we had trepidations. We went there, and I did the summer before he started. They had what's called a overnight parent camp and student camp where you could go there and check it out. And the first thing that I noticed on the Berkeley campus, at least, was how friendly, how accepting, how supportive the not only the staff there, but also the network of parents of students that were there, and the students themselves. I was very surprised by that. I'm like, wait, I thought this was not really support everything else. Again, this is my perspective. Other people may have other perspectives, but it really did concern me. But frankly, we just got the best network. I got on to a Facebook group of parents, the UC Berkeley students, and every single day a parent was posting on something new, something that was happening on campus, something to be concerned about, something to be proud of. And so I was always in the know. Frankly, I was in the know of things that my son didn't even know about. Hey, and I would say, "Hey, I heard this happen." He'd be like, "Oh yeah." Um, Perspectives of was the safety issue real? Yeah, the safety issue was real. But you know what? You're going to have that with a lot of the large campuses, regardless of where you go. I mean, you're next to a city, San Francisco. And so it's a matter of making sure that, the students are aware, they open their eyes, they're not having the earbuds in their ears and walking around and not knowing their surroundings. But if you are smart and you don't walk at 2 a.m. in the morning by yourself, yeah, then and you walk with friends and family. And of course, they had a lot of safety protocols and a lot of safety opportunities of, transportation and the police and everybody else and watch groups are able to help you, go around and maneuver around. So that was great. But the biggest thing that I saw was the opportunities. My son had 7, I believe, internships. And the first internship that he got from UC Berkeley was basically the person saw his resume. He went in for an interview and he said, "Okay, you went to UC Berkeley?" "Yeah." And then he said, "Okay, good. I'm going to take you on as an intern," because he was a UC Berkeley grad. And that's the one thing I've noticed is the network. And I'm sure Coach Dollie, you probably had again networks. Anybody at the school, at any school, um, the network at Berkeley was incredible. It was so supportive. Again, as I mentioned, the parents, even today, when I see um, people walking by with their hats and it has Berkeley, and I say, "Go Bears," and they go Bears, and we start talking. And even though I didn't attend, they still treat me like I attended. And the opportunities for my son that he got, he did really, really well. He went in mechanical engineering. Then he joined the F1 racing team and started developing on the platform for the F1, the actual racing car. And the sky's the limit. And he met his community. That's where I meant is that if you can establish that friendship, that support system right away, it does it you any school that you go to, you'll be able to survive because those are the people who are going to be in the trenches with you when times are tough. And I'm sure Coach Dollie will agree with that. um if you can establish that, then you can make it through everything because they're all going through the same thing. Was it tough at Berkeley? Absolutely. Was he studying big time? Absolutely. There were times when I complained to him and saying, "Hey, you're not getting any sun, get out," what I mean, because he's studying, but he loved it. He really truly loved what he was doing. This was one of the times that he kind of ran into COVID, when that thing COVID, but he was able to create Berkeley in Minecraft, and they call it Blockly, and now they use it for their orientation. So he had a lot of opportunities, and for the UCs, I can't say enough of the UC system. The academics is great, the network is great, the communities and each of the schools, and I've visited every single one, and they're all different, but they all, you know, they're incredible from UC Santa Cruz, which is, in the middle of a forest, to Santa Barbara, which is right next to the ocean, to Irvine, which is in the middle of a suburb. Even again, Merced, I know Merced is out there, but it's an incredible school that's growing in popularity because of its straight to medical school. And then of course UC Davis. We've done actually sessions. egelloC has done college admission sessions on UC Davis campus. It's an incredible, huge campus, and people love it. Of course, San Diego, where I live, UC San Diego is really great. And then of course Riverside. I've had a lot of friends and family go to Riverside. It's a massive campus, and it's but has really as of late shown its own and has become a really really big and prominent. So I hope that helped with respect to perspectives of the UCs versus Cal States, because like I said, either one is incredible. and it really is which one is right for you. So, with that said, we're going to open up for questions. But before I do that, if you are watching this video and you found our information helpful, please book a 15-minute assessment with our admission counselors by typing BOOK book at 949-775-0865. We can give you a free 15-minute assessment of how we can help your student. If you are looking for financial aid assistance, Coach David, who is our guru and the GOAT for financial aid, is available to help. You can see this QR code right here to book a session with him, a free session, to really find out what you could do from a financial perspective. Because as I mentioned, I don't like to pay for my kids' school as well, and you shouldn't either. So, with that said, we want to thank you and we want to open up for questions. I don't know if is there any questions? Please let us know. Are there any questions about the UCs or the Cal States? And please put them on to the chat or the Q&A section. Any questions at all? I know normally if we did such a great presentation as there's no questions, and I'll assume we just did an amazing job of answering all your questions. Are there any? Oh, I
Helpful
love it.
session, Christy. Thank you,
Hey,
thank you.
always love it when there's a
Mhm.
helpful session. Thank you so much. Any other questions? Any other questions or comments? Anybody concerned about the Cal States or the UCs? Um, asking about any of, oh, for a communications degree, would you advise a CSU? Okay. What do you think, Coach Dolly? I do have an opinion on that too, but go ahead.
Yeah, so actually, I participated in a speech and debate tournament in CSU Chico, and actually did get first place in one of them. So that was awesome. But there is definitely a lot of programs and hands-on experiences with specifically communication. The speech and debates, just one example. But definitely, yeah, there's a lot of Cal State Fullerton, CSU Long Beach, San Diego State, San Jose State, and also CSU Northridge. Those are all some really good schools for communication. And if you're interested in like journalism, digital media, those are really good, strong ties to have like in the Bay Area for San Jose State. For CSU Northridge, excellent for film, TV, medium, if that's what you're looking for, more on that area. And of course, it's right really close to Hollywood. So yeah, definitely there is a lot of opportunities within a CSU for communication.
Okay. Thank you so much for that. Yeah, I mean, I think uh let's see here.
So to add in for Cal State Fullerton, they do have a lot of nationally recognized for communications in like PR, advertising, journalism. So it really depends to what you want to do, if you already know. But those are some good options on there.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. Let's see here. The question was, what is the best UC campus different from UCLA for dentistry? Okay. Well, I can answer that. So first of all, I know UCLA is pretty good, is of course, UCLA is always pretty well for all of that. But for dentistry, a lot of times when you talk about dentistry, you are going to you want to do a pre-dental path, right? And so you're going to apply to dental schools. So it's the ones that are strong in STEM. All right. Now, when we're talking about strong in STEM, you're talking about San Diego, you're talking about Davis, you're talking about Irvine. Um, Now, Berkeley, because Berkeley is a more research-oriented school, unless you're going into dental research or so, but yeah, UCLA, Irvine, San Diego, Davis as well, because they're very strong in the STEM areas. Okay, so that's one. Let's see here. How does CSU rank students for admission since? Okay. Do you want to take that, or you want me to take that, Dolly?
Yeah, I can take it. So for CSUs, they're very focused more on like the GPA, the scores or your A through G courses. And yeah, you're right. They don't have any personal statements like, oh, sorry, PIQs like the UC do. So it is more based on like the academics. So no essays, no letters of recommendations. But yeah, that would be overall my response. What
Okay.
about you, Coach
So,
Hart?
so yeah, so this is the thing. First of all, there used to be kind of like a what they call the eligibility index. This is how the UCs used to do it in a sense of GPA and SAT, right? So, but yes, of course, Cal State's they're test free as of 2021. So now they're involved in like I think what they call is a multi-factor scoring. That multi-factor is the rigor of coursework. So that's why we always dictate rigor. Uh, First gen status is another thing. And then the area. So they do put emphasis on nearby high schools in comparison to the school. So local admission area. They do have more about local or sorry, low income families, EOP. And then the ones not essay based, but they may look at something where work experience or family responsibilities, extracurricular, but a lot of times you can't because of course there's no essays. But the big thing here is about the service area because they do give priority admission to those that are more closer to the area that of the school itself. And then the how the students are ranked are basically Cal State's they have a GPA recalculation. So they have the GPA calculation. They also give extra points for rigor courses, again, AP, IB honors courses, which they do cap that as well. Prioritize, as I mentioned, to local area, and then any additional factors that may impact the campus or major. Um, so it's not they're not judged holistically necessarily. Yes, there is more of a factor of GPA and the multi-factor criteria. So that's the reason why we always say, regardless of whether you're doing CSU or UCs, your academics, you want to go grade trend, always trending up, right? A through eighth, A's and B's are good grades. But of course, more A's are better than B's. And then, of course, try to take as much rigor as you can. Okay. Let's see here. We're looking for marine bio coming from out of state. It seems we have choices in both systems. Absolutely. What do you think about that, Coach Dolly? I do
Yeah.
know some. Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. For CSU, right off the bat, what came in mind is Cal State Monterey, CSU Monterey Bay. They're right on the ocean. They have really great programs specifically for marine biology as well. And it's also near the Monterey Bay Aquarium. So that might help some research institutes and a lot of hands-on focus for that's the one that highlighted for CSU. What about for UC's, Coach Art?
Yeah. First of all, Santa Barbara, I mentioned, is right next to the ocean. They have an amazing marine science institute that's next to them. UC Santa Cruz. They're right next to Monterey Bay. So they are associated with Monterey Bay, the
Peninsula, I think it's called.
Marine Sanctuary. There's a marine, yeah, it's exactly. UC San Diego, again, close to my heart because I'm in San Diego. Scripps Institution of Oceanography is amazing. And I've been actually there. And I've seen students actually doing research in there. So that's incredible. UC Davis, although it's landlocked, it still has a marine and coastal science track. And then UC Berkeley, although I've seen this, they don't have actually a specific marine biology, but they do have integrative biology that does focus on marine biology. So that's that. And then as for, you already talked about it, Long Beach, San Diego State, Humboldt. Humboldt is now Cal Poly Humboldt. It's no longer Cal State Humboldt. So just to let everybody know that Northridge, San Francisco State as well. So, yep. Let's see. Lots of great questions here. Not many UC offers business administration major. Do students who intend to be in a major in business administration pick? Okay. Good question. Good question. So first of all, people don't realize this, that in the UC system, there are only 3 UCs that actually have business colleges: Berkeley, Irvine, Riverside. Those are the only 3. So the other ones, they offer business majors, but the business majors are the typical business administration, accounting, finance, marketing, that kind of thing. Okay. And even let's say some of them are not even business majors, they call them business related. So it's actually economics, but it's not economics in the true sense of business. It's just economics through other majors. So when you are looking at UC, some people say, "Oh, I want to go to UCLA for business. It's so great." Well, guess what? UCLA doesn't have a business college. What the advantage of having a business college is because now you have actually different, more different majors. Okay, more different majors that you can go ahead and so let's say like strategic planning or organizational leadership or entrepreneurship or so. So
Yeah, for
you now,
example, sorry to
Dolly,
interrupt.
you
Yeah,
know go ahead, Dolly, because you're a business major. So go ahead.
yeah, for example, at Chico State, we did have the College of Business, and there is business administration, and then your regulars, right? Like finance, marketing, everything. But there was also management information systems, which was also a major within the College of Business, and which now I'm like, oh, that would have been a really great major because that's what everybody always does business administration, but business information systems, there isn't that many students, but it's a field that was really, really growing, right? With technology, AI, everything. So look into those colleges and see what else they offer outside of business administration, because there could be other programs.
Yeah, I mean, what I like about the CSUs is that they actually have a number of them have business colleges. Okay, they really do. So, San Diego State, of course, you got the Fowler College of Business, you got Cal State, SLO, that is, gosh, no, or Orafalia. I think it's Orafalia or Orfalia or something like that. Uh, Fullerton and Long Beach both have College of Businesses as well. So again, as I mentioned, when you have a College of Business, it allows you to have even more uh options for the type of majors. Okay, so the type of majors, so that's where you know, I like this the CSUs, because of the opportunity for the different types of majors that are there. Okay, now it says here, can you share how the business school in CSU and UC differs? Okay, how we doing on time? Ooh, looks like that. Okay, we're almost there. Okay, remember how we mentioned is between the UCs and the CSUs, the focus is really business, and UCs are more theoretical research, right? CSUs, they're more applied practical. And I know Coach Dolly probably knows this. You probably can, again, going to use CSUs, you probably have that practical aspect. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. They even hosted networking events, right? Where you would just learn how to network. They would tell you like never have hold a plate with your right hand in case you need to start shaking somebody's
Oh,
hand and
wow.
introduce yourself. So there's a lot of different events that could be held by the Career Center or with the College of Business. Like they're going to really prep you for that hands-on experience and those things rather than research or so it really depends what you're looking for too. But all of
Yeah,
them
and
are going to have great things. And all of the within CSUs and UCs, they all have some sort of accreditation. So there's the AACSB accreditation, and that's like a gold standard for business schools. And you'll find that in CSUs and UCs.
yeah, and again, we kind of mentioned this in our previous slides, but as I mentioned, majors, UCs, there's only three business schools, UCI, Cal, and Riverside. So they offer, business majors like economics, management, accounting, all that. But the CSUs, because they have more business colleges, they have business administration and have many different concentrations within that. The teaching style, again, much bigger class sizes, larger lecture, more theory, more quantitative stuff versus CSUs or smaller classes. There's more emphasis on a grad school, so you can go the pipeline like MBA, a law, your PhD or so, versus a strong pipeline, the CSU straight into the workforce. Internships wise, I think UCs, they're much more competitive, but they're great in finance and consulting. But the only thing is with CSUs, because there's so many of them, they have very strong regional ties. So as Coach Dolly mentioned, San Jose State, I mean, it's right there in Silicon Valley. I mean, I know so many students that have gone there, and they have recruiters coming all the time. So that's great. Gosh, you know what? We are at time here because we do have to go and make sure that we don't get overtime. Thank you so much, everybody. Um, Let me see if we could take one more. Does UC pay attention to the grades of first quarter of senior year in which GPA they look at the acceptance for the okay. First of all, we don't really care about GPA. in our what we talk about, because GPA, it can be calculated all over. But the question was, do they care about the grades of first quarter of senior year? They won't see the grades for first quarter of senior year because you're applying during that time. What they will see is the grades from the summer before your senior year and, of course, your junior year. So that's what they're looking for. But remember, you're self-reporting. And what happens here is that when you get accepted in June, they're going to ask you for your final transcripts. So you have to do well. I've seen students that actually dropped the class or they got a bad grade in course and they got their acceptance removed or got taken back because it looked like they were these great students and they just took it off on in senior year. You don't want to do that. That is the wrong thing to do. And I have seen students affected by that. So first of all, thank you so much. I want to thank my special guest here, Coach Dollie. Amazing,
Thank
providing so
you.
much great information. So thank you so much. And again, I always say, thank you so much for joining us. You could be somewhere else. You could be with a loved one, a family member, a friend, or doing something amazing, and you choose to be with us. So we want to thank you so much for being and joining us. And we will see you at the next training. Thanks,
Thank,
everybody. Appreciate
thank
it.
you
Have a
all.
whole rest of your day. Bye bye.